So I wanted to come on here, and yes, I will upload this today, or will be uploaded today. Unlike some of the other videos that I do have waiting to premiere here on YouTube, due to, of course, it being the summer season. And just like a Christmas season and somewhat spring season, you kind of know what that means. I even did a video on it while I was waiting for my bus last week. But anyway, I wanted to come on here and do a video basically where I talk about two things that Cyberpunk Jordan here on YouTube did videos on. Now, one is a response that somebody made on Twitter to his video, and that would be Luke Bro, known as Juice underline it underline to BOI. You know, he basically, it's actually Juice underscore to underscore it underscore BOI, like boy. It's at Luke Bro on Twitter. Anyway, he mentioned back on the 20th that he watched a video about Sonic Archie's biggest mistake, which is Mecha Sally, and the guy in the video, that being Cyberpunk Jordan, said that was the last time we saw the OG version of our beloved Sally, which Cyberpunk Jordan is technically correct on, because the next time we would see her, of course, would be with her new look and everything in the soft reboot retcon, or reboot retcon, whatever you want to call it, or how you want to see it. So technically Cyberpunk Jordan is correct, but not necessarily, because you see, and I'm sure he's aware of this, if it wasn't for the reboot, the retcon, soft reboot, soft retcon, but like I said, however you want to view it, we still would have gotten that new design of Sally in the old continuity. Because basically Ian Flynn's plans, according to what he said, if you believe him, is that by at least 250, Sally would have been restored, and the end result would be what we got basically in the reboot, retcon, soft retcon, whatever you want, like I said, however you want to view it. We would have basically gotten the same design, but in the original continuity. But because of the lawsuits, which Cyberpunk Jordan has touched upon, I think on one or two of his videos, thanks to Ken Penders and all that, we ended up getting the design, but in a new rebooted, restructured world and continuity of said world and timeline of said world, starting with 252. The only credit I think we could give Ian in that manner too is at least he was able to connect both timelines, both continuities, together to kind of explain the change, so that, like the characters at first, anybody that might be new to the book or still with the book won't be confused about the change or anything, or even, ask whether or not, if they were ignoring, that being Ian Flynn, if they were ignoring events of the past continuity, but instead here, Ian made sure that they were acknowledged. Even if it was just, even like I said, if it was just to connect, the timelines, the continuities, and basically say, hey, it's still the same story, it's still the same continuity, it's that things have changed because of Eggman's stupidity. Just drinking some Coca-Cola there. Anyway, to an extent, like I said, Cyberpunk Jordan is correct. So Luke Bro, you did hear correctly, but like I said, if it wasn't for the lawsuits, we still would have gotten that that new design of Sally, but it would have been in the original continuity and not the rebooted, retconned continuity that we ended up getting. So yeah, in a sense, it was the last time we saw OG Sally as she was with her original design, but we still would have gotten OG Sally with the new design in the OG continuity, had the lawsuit not screwed things up and they had to go to the route they did. So you do have a point, and Cyberpunk Jordan does have a point. to an extent. But there was something else that Cyberpunk Jordan talked about, and it was his most recent video. And he did it to celebrate getting over 420-something thousand subscribers or something like that. I think he had that much. I'm not really sure. But basically, he wanted to celebrate getting so many subscribers. I think he said it was 425. I have to check again. Hold on for a sec. Okay, just double checking. It's actually 450 subscribers he hit. And he wanted to celebrate by talking about what many consider one of the more controversial two-part issues of the original book. And that was the 150th issue and its follow-up 151. But more specifically about one scene that he pointed out and he wanted to talk about. And Ken Penders, to an extent, kind of, I guess you could say, implied that such a moment happened, and that Bobby at the Thank You Ken Penders site or forum even felt the same way that Jordan did, as well as everybody, as well as some other fans may have felt when they saw this particular scene. And if you see the image pop up on the screen here, then you'll know which one I'm talking about. That's, of course, Bunnie sleeping or waking up from a nap, if you will, at night that she had with who she thought was Sonic at the time. Just like us readers, and Jordan is, quick to point this out, just like us readers on initial reading of the issue, a lot of us thought this was Sonic until basically the ending, when Sonic, quote unquote, reveals that he's actually evil Sonic, the one that would go on to be Scourge, and that he had traded places with Sonic, just like he had done the same with Antoine and anti-Antoine, evil Antoine, aka Patch, previously, all because, he saw an opportunity to live, not only live, the lifestyle, the famous lifestyle that Sonic was living, but obviously to be around all these hot babes, if you will. And thus, throughout the story, of course, he hit on Amy. He hit on Mina Mongoose. That's Mina, not Mina. Well, it all depends on how you pronounce it, but it's Mina to me. Mina Mongoose. And, of course, Bunnie Rabbot. And then later on, Rouge. But with the Bunnie situation, this one particular scene is what really got, Jordan kind of like, looking back on it, kind of like, really? They put that in there? Now, initially, it's not indicated whether or not Sonic and Bunnie, as Jordan put it, boinked, if you will, basically had, sex, if you want to put it bluntly. He's basically, hold on, I'm getting my tongue tied here for a minute, hold on. Sorry about that, I had to get another drink of Coca-Cola there. But anyway, this one particular scene, to kind of rewind a little bit, this one particular scene is what really surprised Jordan a little bit, and I'm sure surprised a lot of people, in the way Ken Penders, basically talked about it or mentioned it when he was asked about the scene. And then, of course, the implication given off by, like I mentioned moments ago, Bobby of the Thank You Ken Penders forum. Yeah, as Jordan put it, basically it looked like Bunnie and Sonic, or evil Sonic, because again, in story, Bunnie doesn't know it's actually evil Sonic, had boinked, or to put it bluntly, had sex, because they were waking up from a nap together. And the one thing that made Cyberpunk Jordan notice that this, that the dialogue we got in the scene might have not been the original dialogue that was supposed to be that first, was because of the font. The font coming from the speech bubble of Bunnie compared to the speech bubble of quote-unquote Sonic. So, yeah. Could there have been some kind of edit there? We're not really sure. You see, initially, the person that came up with the idea was Carl Bollers. And Carl had already left the book before the issue was made, or even the story was written. So Ken Penders, from what I understand, took it upon himself to write the story himself. And I guess originally was going to go with what Carl had in mind, but I'm assuming what happened is when he presented that idea from a script standpoint, they kind of approved it except for some particular scenes or dialogue, and the dialogue with the Bunnie, and Sonic scene, or the Bunnie evil Sonic scene at night, might have been one of those things that they said, hey, everything else is cool, but this dialogue, here you got to change. And that's probably why we had the changing of font, between, or the difference, I should say, in font between what Bunnie's saying and what, quote-unquote, Sonic is saying in response. Because it looks like Bunnie was supposed to say something else that might have indicated, that they did the deed, that they basically got very intimate with each other, if you catch my drift. And, like I said, that ended up being changed. But when Jordan brought this scene up, even though it does give off those vibes, and, the way Ken basically, talks about it, or not talks about it, but kind of acknowledges it in his own way, it still raises a lot of questions. Because you got to remember, at the time, this is still an all-ages book. Now, yes, they were trying to aim for an older audience, which is why they had Rouge do what she did with Locke, kissing him to distract him in the 151 issue. And, of course, what they would do, later on with some other things as well that seemed to probably go over the head of the initially targeted audience, or even the audience that they were now trying to target. But, with that said, this still brings up the question, with all the evidence pointing in that direction, did it really happen? Because you got to remember, Bunnie is still, part of her is still her bottom half, along with her right arm, I believe, or her left arm, I should say, her left arm, is basically cybernetic, even back then. And this takes place in the original continuity. So, her body, partially, her legs, her arm, and her certain region of her body, if you will, at least a certain bottom region of her body, is all cybernetic still. It's still robotic. Now, her new design kind of changes that up a little bit to where it's only her legs and her arm. But basically, the original design of Bunnie shows it's not just her legs and her arm, but it's also her bottom torso, basically her bottom region where a certain private region of a woman is at. So even though, in my opinion, this does give off the vibes that this did happen, and maybe Bunnie has a certain mechanism inside of her on that bottom region that allows access, if you know what I mean. Honestly, even though it gives off the vibes, I don't think they really did anything. Because, one, she was still wearing her cowboy outfit at that time. And, if, it did happen, basically it was probably a quickie or something like that. The only thing I could think that happened, if you really want to get adultly technical and detailed, is that Bunnie gave who she thought was Sonic a quick BJ, if you know what I mean. Yeah, quick BJ. And that's about it. And then they just made out afterwards. She probably planted some kisses on his body and his head, as described in some certain other stories out there. And they just, fell asleep together in each other's arms. That's it. That's what we can assume. That's probably how, crazy it might have, or not crazy, but that might have been just based off the image, that might have been how far it went. That maybe if you, like I say, you want to get adultly technical and detailed, she might have off panel given him a BJ, if you know what I mean, thinking he's the real deal and not knowing he's an imposter. And then maybe just covering him in kisses from head to toe, on his body and everything, and then falling asleep, together. And that's it. And that's the closest we would probably get to a situation like that happening. Because again, you got to remember, her original design, her bottom torso along with her legs is all robotic, including a certain private region, including, I should say, a certain private region as well, unless, like I said, she has a certain mechanism that allows access, but I don't think so. So, like I said, I think the closest we can get is if you want to go, like I said, in that very adulterated, technical, detailed, off-panel perspective, is that she may have just given him a quick BJ and then covered him in kisses from head to toe, including on his body, and then that's it. That's it. But I don't think anything else went any further. I don't really think so. Yes, the panel does give off those vibes. I'm not denying that. Yes, Penders' response to some of the Twitter questions thrown his way by fans about this scene does give off those vibes as well. But and even Bobby from the Thank You Ken Penders forum, even feels even feels that the scene gives off those implications, but I don't think that happened. Because again, if it was the new design that Bunnie got in this soft reboot in retcon, or reboot retcon, however you want to view it, then yeah, I would say it's possible. But since this is a Bunnie Rabbot of the old continuity, then we have to remember her original design. Sorry about that. I accidentally, hit the stop button. But like I said, her original design would not allow access for something like that to happen unless, like I mentioned, she had a certain opening in the region that she could just open up herself and allow access for any person to access, if you know what I mean, or access, if you know what I mean. But again, because her design is a little bit different than her new design in the post 252 reboot, retcon, soft reboot, soft retcon, again, however you view it, I do not think anything truly happened, because again, like I was trying to say, if it was that design that she got post 252, then yeah, I would believe it. But again, I think because her design was different and her bottom half, her bottom region was robotic as well, or cybernetic as well, I don't think that's possible. I don't think it was possible, period. Again, I think if you want to get very adultly technical and detailed and everything, I think the furthest that they went off panel is she gave him a quick BJ, and then as they laid down, she covered him in kisses from head to toe, including even on the body, and then they fell asleep. That's as close as, again, I'm believing they might have gone. And again, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, but I think that's the closest and farthest they may have gone. But like I said, I understand where Jordan's coming from and anybody else is coming from. That scene, this panel that you see here on screen does give off that vibe. It does give off that vibe that something more happened. Excuse me. But like I said, when you get down to it, though, Bunnie still had on her cowgirl outfit, her jacket, her hat. So unless, like I said, she stripped down real quickly, including her leotard, unless she stripped down real quickly and they went to town real quickly, like I said, she probably just gave him, from an off-panel adult technical detail standpoint, if you want to go that far, she probably gave him a quick BJ and then smothered him in kisses, and that's it. That is it. all because she thought it was the real Sonic, not knowing it's a false one, which thankfully off panel was taken care of when Sonic basically had to explain to her and Amy and Mina that, yeah, that Sonic that was flirting with you, that was the scumbag known as Evil Sonic who switched places with me. So, thankfully that got resolved even if it was off panel. Even though, be honest, I would have loved to have seen a side story where he explains it, and you see all the girls kind of have like these sickening, disgusted looks to their face, like they're about to vomit at the fact that, oh, we just made out with that jerk and not the real deal. Blah. You know, I would have loved to see that additional panel in there, but we never got something like that. Anyway, though, guys, I don't honestly think, even though it does give off the vibes, and unless, technically she could have had a certain opening in there that she could give people access to, certain people, I don't think they did anything. I really don't. But again, that's just my opinion. And that's really all I can say on it. But what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on the entire situation with the Bunnie and Evil Sonic scene from 150? How did you feel about it? What vibe did it give off to you? Also, do you agree with Cyberpunk Jordan about the fact that even though there was a good chance, if not for the lawsuits, we still would have gotten the redesigned Sally look in the old continuity, that basically when she went Mecha, that's when the original had died and we had lost her forever kind of deal. It was the last time we saw the OG version. Do you agree with what Luke Bro has to, said about that, along with Jordan? What are your thoughts? Comment below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, super chats and super stickers will be open during the video. If you can help donate there, it'd be really appreciative, especially around this time of year. Also, super thanks also would be greatly appreciated around this time of year as well, to help me out financially. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Comment below, live chat during the premiere, like I said. Check out the Teespring store for stuff you can use